Hey, it's Molly. Welcome back to my channel as we are going through this series on descendant energies. And now we're going to discuss Aquarius Descendant, which is in your chart if you have Leo rising. The rising or ascendant sign is the sign that was rising on the eastern horizon at the time and location of your birth. And the opposite point in the chart is the opposite astrology sign, which would be Aquarius in this case. So the descendant expresses the energies that you wish to experience with and through other people. It can be what you are unconsciously drawn to. It can be the part of yourself that comes alive through others who have these Aquarian qualities. And so understanding this part of your chart helps you understand how you make connections, the ones that you perhaps prefer and feel the most natural to you, as well as how your own energy really can come alive and how your own Aquarius energies may be showing up through those connections. So I'm going to read what this chart shows us. I'm going to talk about some more particulars, and keep in mind, of course, this is not your chart. So the idea is to take what I'm going through in this tutorial video and apply it to your own chart and assess the energies, look at them in hindsight, and make some connections for yourself around how your Aquarius descendant has shown up for you in your life. So Aquarius is the 11th sign of the zodiac. It's a fixed air sign, and it is the energy of visions, dreams, hopes, friends, all the people you know in the world. And when you have an Aquarius descendant, you could just know a lot of people and they just show up. Maybe they're drawn to you. Maybe you have some Aquarian qualities that bring people in. Maybe there's things about your energy that just activates your ability to be social, to reach out, to work with a bigger scale of individuals, because this Aquarius energy is about groups, communities, memberships. So chances are you could have a big friendship circle, or you could just know a lot of people socially through your interactions, however it might be. But the Aquarius energy here is one that also tends to be ahead of its time. And it is a trend center, it is avant-garde, it can be quite rebellious, it can be quite the genius, quite brilliant, quite a strong individual. And those could be the energies that you just appreciate in people who show up in your world or that you're attracted to, is that you want them to be able to stand on their own, maybe have their own thing going. That's part of the independence here. Maybe have their own world, their own experiences that come into your orbit or to your world. There's also energies here where the Aquarian mind is very strong. And so it's a thinker, it's a communicator, and you would need that in your life. You would need someone who's intellectually stimulating, who can talk about all the things under the sun, things that are perhaps too weird or unusual to bring up to others, but that you want to explore and understand. So this is where you can bring in other people that you wouldn't perhaps normally think you have something in common or something that you can talk about. But Aquarius energy, when it's well placed and well expressed, can really talk to anyone. And again, this goes back to knowing a lot of people in the world or having a big circle. Now, the other side of Aquarius is that it can be quite shut down, where you don't let people in. You don't want to socialize or hang out or know half the world. The Aquarius energy can also be a loner. And you could seek out connections that honor that part of your energy, where you want that part of who you are to be rather untouched, because it can be the energy of even a misfit, someone who doesn't know where they fit in to society or to a culture. It can be the person who doesn't know where to go with their gifts, where their talents. This can also be someone who actually doesn't want personal relationships that are too emotional, that are too overcommitted, that basically take away any of your independence or your freedom. And so you need those partnerships, connections, friendships that honor that in you, and where perhaps there aren't people that latch on and stay connected, because that's where the Aquarian energy will push them aside or push them off and just be like, it's too much, it's too close for comfort, I don't need that in my world, I don't need that in my life. So it's important to understand how this really works for you, because you can draw a lot of people in. They could be curious about you, they could get to want to know you, and likewise, you could also be drawn to a lot of people. But it's almost like, then what? Because I feel like this Aquarius energy can even be guarded or unexpectedly protective of what you do allow into your space and why. And this could be something that you observe through the years, because maybe when you were younger it was one thing, and then as you get older there's different, I'm hearing qualifications or things that you seek out or look for. Because again, that Aquarius energy is here to be its own person, is here to be its own individual. And there's always an unconventional expression with Aquarius. And so this could be unconventional connections, unconventional relationships, even quite disruptive and even quite unexpected. Because Aquarius is eclectic and it also operates at a higher frequency, the frequency match is most important, more so than other things that might be easier to logically understand. And with this energy, there can be surprising connections. That's the unexpected element of Aquarius, where you meet someone and the two people are like, the two of you, I would never put you together. That kind of thing, where people are like, oh wow, I didn't realize the two of you were together, or that you were friends, or you were partners, or you were working on something together. So there can be a surprise element here with Aquarius, and that can even be in who you meet, how you meet them. This also leads us then to the ruling planets of Aquarius, and I'm going to address both the co-rulers, which are Uranus and Saturn. And I think they're both important for understanding the descendant. And I feel like each planet plays a different role in how this Aquarius descendant expresses itself and how it makes connections. So Aquarius comes through with strong Uranian energies. And again, going back to the themes here of being an individual, being ahead of your time, being different, being unexpected, being edgy, being someone who perhaps has a different take on the kinds of people that you want to hang out with or be around. This Uranian energy comes through strongly, perhaps even when you're younger, because Uranus can be quite a teenager. And it can be disruptive and impulsive, and there can be the energy of, I'll do what I want, no one can tell me anything, I want my freedom. And so there could be something here where a lot of people have come and gone in your connections, friendships, partnerships. A lot of people come in and go out. Maybe it's like that evolving door where you meet them unexpectedly and then your time together is over. And so you would look at your natal Uranus for where you create and even separate bonds, and where those bonds are good for you or not, and how they allow you to be yourself, have your freedom, do your thing, but they don't hold you back. And of course, that would take a special kind of connection, or people who really understand what you're about. So you would look at your natal Uranus by sign and house placement, to understand more about how that either originated or what that looks like for you. Also to understand where you always will need your freedom, where you always will need to do your own thing. You don't want to be held back. You don't want anyone to be holding on to who you are. I'm getting that image of breaking a ball and chain, or whatever that feels like for you. Because truly, for people in your world to understand you, you're always going to need your space. And you might notice that you need more space than other people, or you need more time to yourself, especially, so this Uranus is in the 4th house. Wherever Uranus is, it's where, again, you need to do your own thing and be in the fullness of your own energy, and you don't want anybody intruding on that. And so anyone who is asking too much of you or who is requiring you to be something you're not, chances are you're just going to be like, peace out, and it's over, because there's something about this very powerful Uranus energy that will always need expression. And it actually gets ramped up and almost even more rebellious when it's held back. Like when it's caged, right? You don't want to cage a tiger. There's something here where this is the part of you that people will really have to know and understand in order to be in your world or your orbit and to know who you really are. So again, this goes back to that unconventional relationships. Things that other people don't do, but it works for you. And you're like, this is who I am. This is what works for me. And there's a very strong Aquarius energy signature around all that. So the other planet that's important would be your natal Saturn. Because this Saturn was the traditional ruler of Aquarius before Uranus was discovered in the 18th century. And this Saturn still has some significance for how this Aquarius energy will mature and grow. And so you could notice that there were times in your life when you were okay with being settled. This Saturn is traditional, but I like to think of it as organized, because Uranus doesn't mind a crazy mess. Saturn wants it organized. And I feel like part of what this Aquarius Descendant is that the energy gets worked out through Saturn transits. And Saturn transits happen every 7 years in your life, every 7 years. And it will have an echo to your 7th house of relationships. And so Saturn is how, you're making choices around your purpose, your work, your mission, the seriousness of life, what you are responsible for. And this could be, this Saturn with Uranus is like later life commitments. And again, it could be reversed for you, but because this Uranus can feel like a teenager, it's like, I want my freedom, I want to do my thing, I want to be left alone, no one can touch me, I'm going to do this energy first. And then through the Saturn transits in your life, especially after your first Saturn return, then this Saturn can gain prominence, and it can show you more of not only who you are, what you want, but what you will take seriously. Now, this Saturn is in Libra. So you can see how that is important for relationship experiences, maturity, lessons in Libra areas about how to do relationships in a way that work for you, and how this Saturn is holding you to a higher level of maturity that you rise to in your life, again, based on these Saturn transits. And then what happens is often this Saturn will start to be more influential than Uranus. Of course, this depends on your chart. Of course, it depends on you. And it could even be reversed. Okay, so let's say it's reversed. And when you were younger in life, you had more of the Saturn and Libra energies dominating, or wherever your Saturn is, wherever your Saturn is. And so maybe you got married early or younger. Maybe you had some relationships that were a big deal to you, were very important. And in this chart, Saturn at 14 degrees of Libra trines this descendant at 18. And so that is favorable, where this Saturn energy is influencing the descendant, and it's taking commitments seriously. So again, let's say you got married in your 20s or early 30s, and then life changes happened, things occurred, something, fell apart. And then you moved into the Uranus expressions of, well, I'm never getting married again. That's not my thing. Been there, done that. I want my freedom. I want to sow my wild oats. It's just important to acknowledge both these energies in your chart, because both of them are talking to your Aquarius descendant, but you might, again, feel that one gets louder over time. And so maybe you have been the wild free spirit. Maybe you have done things to really get to know and understand this Uranian energy, and then you're moving into the Saturn. So both of these are important to look at in your chart and to understand these parts of your energies, what they need in regards to connections, partnerships, relationships, because this is also the energy of doing things differently. And so you could feel like you're just outside of the status quo. And you could just feel like your life path looks so different from traditional relationships, traditional friendships, whatever you would consider traditional, where you're at in your culture, in your life. So that's why these two planets are important to look at. And then to take it further, you would look at what aspects they're making to other planets in your chart. And with this Saturn here at 14 of Libra, you can see that it's actually sextiling this moon in Leo at 11 degrees in the 12th house. So this would need stability on a daily basis. And this actually would be the chart of someone who seeks out relationships. I mean, look at all this Libra energy. Libra energy is powerful here. And plus you've got Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn. So 3 of the outer planets in Libra, signifying it's a relationship lifetime. And how you communicate your needs, that's the 3rd house. How you live your life with others in harmony with someone else, and what that means for you. This Pluto in Libra is really powerful. The generation with Pluto in Libra is actually deeply transforming what true partnership looks like, and is part of the bigger collective energies that are learning the full spectrum of power dynamics in relationships, what is equal, where there is equilibrium, but also how not to give your power away. So that would be a big theme for this individual, since their sun in Libra is conjunct Pluto and conjunct this Jupiter. So big relationship energies here, which is why it'd be really good for this person to know more about their Aquarius descendant. Now, I also personally consider Mercury to be really important in Aquarius energies. And that's because Mercury is the lower octave of Uranus, and Mercury is your mind, how you think, what you say, all the communication habits and styles that you have. So I also feel this Mercury is important if you have Aquarius descendant, because it's how you're going to be able to communicate who you are, your truth, your needs in a way that it can be understood by others, and also to get it out of your head, because that Aquarius energy can be really in its head to the point where nothing else can get in or break through. So communication being important in all relationships and connections, yet I feel like this Mercury is important if you have Aquarius descendant, because this is where you're going to be relating to people in your life and sharing what's on your mind, what you need, what you're about, and to make sure that they understand, and that vice versa, that you understand who they are as well. And another thing to look at would be if Saturn and Uranus are connected in any way to the same other planet. And in this chart, they are not. What I mean is, you could look and see, okay, is my natal Uranus and my natal Saturn both connected to my sun by aspect? Are they both connected to my moon, Mercury, Venus, or Mars? by aspect. And then that would tell you how each of these planets is communicating to the same other planet or to a same point in your chart. So I hope that gives you some more things to investigate and dive into around your natal astrology chart with your Aquarius Descendant. And I am doing a full series on this topic, so please check that out if you want to learn even more about how to interpret this part of your chart. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back here soon with another tutorial video.